How'd you feel out there?
Feel great. Feel great. Body feels good. I think this is the best I'm throwing it in several years, so I'm excited about that. Excited about where our team's at too. A lot of young guys stepping up, making plays, so very optimistic.
Why do you say that it's the best you've thrown it in several? What makes you feel that way?
You're out there every day.
Are you trying at this point in camp to go for throws you wouldn't typically in a game? Like, are you trying to push yourself a little bit further?
Depends on the period. 7-on-7, yeah. Team periods, no. Team periods, this year I'm treating it like a game. Finding checkdowns, getting it out quick, trying to get game speed ready.
How much is this defense pushing you, Joe? Especially in the red zone, it looked like they had a very competitive period against you.
Yeah, they're doing a great job. The young DBs are really stepping up and making things tough. We're going to make plays. Both sides are going to make plays, but their energy, physicality, knowledge of their coverages, I think, has been top level. So that's exciting.
I don't think we get to talk to you before the first preseason game again. I know you said it's not going to be up to you, but do you have an idea of how much you'd like to play?
Not yet. We haven't talked about that at all. I'm sure we'll talk about that more early next week.
Joe, how nice is it to see Trey Hendrickson out there, obviously not practicing, but coaching up the rest of the defense?
Yeah, whenever you can have a guy like that in the building, even if he's not going, it's good to see his face, good to have his presence. He's going to play a big part of this team this year, and so just to have him around makes a big difference in the energy around here.
What did that injury with him out there? What did it feel like today? Did you get a sense that he was there, just kind of hanging out?
Less so at practice, more so, walking around meetings, team meeting, training room, stuff like that. He brings an intensity that is very unique, and so I think that's good for us.
What did you say to him when you first saw him?
It's good to have him back. Love you. Good to have you back.
I think you've been really vocal in the entire offseason about why he's so important to have around, why he's important to invest in for the franchise. Why does that, as you guys went through camp, has that been reinforced? How have you felt about his presence and what he means here as you've now been through camp for a week?
This is the guy that has the most sacks over the last 2 years, and production is value in this league. You can think you're such a good player but not have any production. It doesn't really matter. So when you have a guy like that, you want to reward him.
What kind of message?
Is it hard for you to be patient when these contract things are going on that you can't necessarily control, but obviously you know how important Trey is?
It's not up to me. That's the business of the NFL. Things usually go until there's not a lot of teams getting these big deals done early in the off season. Only a couple. I think it's pretty commonplace across the league to have these things done around this time, a little later towards game one. So that's probably what you're going to see.
What's your opinion on the shift in recent years from
Emily, can you grab me a water, please?
What's your opinion on the shift from the holdouts to the hold-ins becoming more and more common around the league?
Well, guys don't want to get fined. That's $50K a day. That's not pennies right there. So I think that probably plays a big part of it.
You've talked a lot about how important your diet is to you and being able to get you to the performance that you're playing at. Do you tweak it at all during training camp, given just like kind of how hot it is outside, or is it similar to what you eat during the season?
Eat a little more calories in training camp. Make sure you're hydrating a little more. And I kind of just do it based on how I'm feeling for an extended period of time. If I'm feeling slow and sluggish, pull back on the carbs and the calories. If I'm happy with where I'm at, then you maintain. We're always in a constant dialogue to change and tweak things depending on how I'm feeling.
We've seen a lot of your connection with Andre Yoshivas on a lot of plays that become non-scripted during games, but it feels like this camp, your chemistry, your timing with Andre is at another level. How do you feel about your chemistry with him?
Yeah, he's having a great camp. Everybody knows the I'm going to throw to number 1 and number 5. But there's a lot of teams that do a really good job of, taking those two guys away. And when you have a guy like Andre, you have a guy like Mike, Maine, Chuck, both really stepping up this camp. We're as deep as we've been at the receiver position since I've been here. And then you have guys like Mitch and Isaiah having great camps as well. Somebody goes down, you can put somebody right there that we have a lot of faith in and has executed really well in training camp. Obviously, some of those guys don't have a ton of game reps yet, but when they continue to make plays in practice, we haven't had a ton of mental errors at receiver 1s or 2s this camp either, and that's very rare. I think the young guys are doing a great job studying the playbook, studying the script, knowing their jobs, and so I feel great about where that room is, and there's going to be injuries, guys are going to go down, and we have guys that we can plug right in.
Is it easier to make those back shoulders and those seam throws to a guy with Andre's body type and size?
Yeah, he's doing a great job of locating it, finding it, and making an aggressive play on the ball. I would say when he got here, that was not his strong suit, and he's worked really hard at that to make it a stronger area of his game. And so he continues to show that in practice. He's going to continue to get opportunities for that in the game. You build that trust, and then you're going to get those opportunities. So he's going to keep doing that, and I'm going to keep trying to get him the ball.
Is there a
You
different?
talked a little bit about it earlier in the defense, some of the younger guys in the intensity, the red zone period. Obviously, new D coordinator, trying to turn around what was a struggle last year defensively. What have you seen in the first week or so of camp with that scheme and the way they played? Is there anything standing out to you early on about that unit?
They seem very confident in what they're doing, and they're not having a ton of mental errors either on that side of the ball. And with a new defense, a complicated defense, and young players, you're usually going to see that, and we're really not. The DBs are understanding the nuances of the coverage really well, understanding where their help is, where their help isn't, playing their leverage is really sound. And then, defensive line, I think Miles and Joseph are having a really good camp. TJ Slayton is going to be a great player for us. The energy he brings, the physicality that he brings, I'm really excited to watch that on Sundays. And then the games, the stunts, the things that they're doing on the defensive side of the ball to create pressure is something that I've gone against for the last several years, and I know how hard that is to deal with from a quarterbacking perspective. And they're doing it at a high level, so that's exciting to see too. So then when we roll 91 back out there, I think it's got a chance to be a special year.
I was just about to ask you about that. I mean, how much do you think about the fact that with all those guys playing as well as they have so far, adding Trey in that mix, how much does that cross your mind as you kind of think about the season?
Yeah, I mean, when they're doing what they are right now up front without him out there, it's just gonna go up another level when he does. What he brings to the table.
Joe, you said you like where the team's at to start the press conference. Is part of that like just a raising the standard across the organization? And where does that start? And are you a big part of raising that standard as well?
I try to set the standard every day with my preparation, with my play, with my discipline, my process, weight room, training room, everything. I just try to be as consistent and as disciplined as I can, trying to set that standard and try to be a resource for some of the guys that are trying to get to that point. And there's a lot of guys that you can tell are hungry to achieve, and so that's when you have guys that are hungry like that, want to take in information, want to create their own process to be great. Usually it's going to work out for guys like that.
Have you talked with Trey about his contract situation since he got back, or you guys just avoid that? And if you have talked with him, just kind of where's he standing right now, in your opinion?
I haven't talked to him in several weeks. Last time I talked to him about it was before camp even started. I saw him for 15 seconds this morning, and then we went off to meetings, so I'm sure we'll have lunch or whatever today, but I have not.
Zach did they kind of reshifted the locker room a little bit, so the offensive line sitting a little bit closer to you. What did you have any input on how that was going to look? I mean, how's that been so far for you?
Yeah, it's been good. Locker room's the locker room. You know, it looks great. We got plenty of places to put our stuff. We got great people in there, so it's been good.
I was really more asking about the personnel that you're sitting next to a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sitting right there in front. Everybody walks past me when they come in, when they're out, so I'm saying hi to everybody. It's been nice to have OB and Ted right there. Those are my guys, so it is what it is.
Joe, I'm not sure how easy it is to keep up with this when you're only, today was the second day of padded practice, but I was wondering where you feel like the O-line is at and how your protection's been up to this stage.
I feel like it's been really good.
Yeah.
I feel like it's been really good. It's obviously different out there when it's game day and it's live bullets. It's, like I've said before, it's harder to feel the pressure when you're not getting touched. You know, in the games, even when you get pressure but not tackled, you know, usually they're coming and, you know, giving you a little push or putting their hands on you so you can tell, you know, how quickly they're getting there, where they are, where they're going to be. So it's a little harder to feel that in practice, but, you know, to my eye, it's been really good.
And how far along do you feel like Dylan is?
I think he's been great.
Yeah.
I think he's been great. Great with the cadence. Usually that's the Achilles heel of a rookie O lineman. You know, he hasn't. I think he had one false start the very first day. I don't think he's had one since. So that's number one. Number two, he seems very confident in the calls, his techniques, all the plays that we're an offense that's been together now for basically 5 years. Plug and play guys here and there, but you know, you're building on the offense that entire time. And so, you know, when you change one thing, then you go down a different tree of change on that route, that play, how you talk about it. And so we're talking about things that are very advanced in the offensive room, and for him to come in and take ownership of that, I think has been very impressive.
Joe, when Josh Newton picks you off in the end zone today, are you happy the defense is making plays, or are you more ticked off at the throw you made of the play that happened?
In a period like that, I'm not, you know, I'm taking chances in a 7-on-7 period, so I'm never going to be upset at a 7-on-7 interception unless I completely miss the read or make a completely inaccurate throw and not throwing it where I'm trying to throw it. So in a 7-on-7 setting, I'm not too worried about that. But yeah, Josh made a good play. You know, watch it on tape later.
And they're talking quite a bit. Jordan Battle's been talking quite a bit. He did to Jamar today as well. Do you like that energy from them?
You need that energy from them. That's how defenses build off of that energy. You know, they're not great. Defense isn't necessarily always played with the mind. You know, a lot of times it's energy, emotion, physicality. You know, there's you can have the best play into the best defense that you're, from an offensive perspective, trying to attack. And if you have a defensive lineman or a corner or a safety make a great individual play, then it's not a lot you can do. So when they have that energy, I think that's very positive.
You like scuffles in practice?
Depends. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. It is what it is. It's football. It's a physical game, emotional game. Guys are going to get into it. It's all love.
Does it tell you anything that happens on only the second day of padded practice?
I don't think so. I think there's probably that going on everywhere in the league at all 32 teams.
How big is it that the defense is playing with the energy that they're playing with, and the secondary's making plays, and that overall they're at this time of year doing what they've done over that?
It's exciting. You know, obviously we'll see when Sundays come around, but you know, you can feel an energy in here that, you know, I'm not sure we've felt it in a while, and I think that's exciting.
Do you think
Are you a guy who likes? Are you a guy who looks forward to get the first time you get hit in the season?
I used to.
Used to no longer.
I mean, like I said, you don't really feel you don't feel that timing and that that pressure in practice like you do in the game. So once you get it, first couple drives, you get the feel of it, and it gets back into rhythm. But you do have to feel that in order to play at a high level.
And that's part of the reason why you want to play in the preseason.
Correct.
Going back to the energy, is that, we ask y'all all about the fast starts and all that stuff. Do you feel like y'all are doing what y'all need now to maybe alleviate those fast starts? And I mean, does it feel like there's a lot y'all are doing differently to making an impact on maybe the urgency or whatever's been causing?
Yeah, I think so. We'll find out. You don't know until the results come. So, but like I said, I'm very positive about the energy and morale that we have in the locker room right now and upstairs in the weight room. Everything's been great.
I know.
It seemed like Yoshi had a big day today, and I was wondering what you thought about his progress. He really spent a lot of time, I think, in the spring building up, trying to do a lot of different things. What have you seen from him this camp?
Yeah, he's doing a great job. I think the biggest step that he's made is making contested catches. Like I said earlier, coming from a track background and not playing played 10 games, no postseason in college, so he didn't really have a full off-season slate of football doing his track stuff. And so, the contested catches when he first came here were not his strong suit, and he's turned it into a strength of his game, and so that's exciting to see.
Nice play down the middle there.
Great play. It was great. It was a really physical route by him, making a good play down the field.
I know I'm looking into the future a little bit, but what will your mindset be going into preseason game number 1, regardless of how many plays?
Play it like a game. Play it like a game. We'll see what. I'm sure we'll have a little different philosophy on how we're going to call it than a regular game, but we'll see when it gets here. But I'm going to go out and treat it like a game, try to get that rhythm.
We're expecting the Taco Cat shirt to get as much traction as it did.
Nah, but I got more of that where whatever the saying is. You guys know what I'm trying to say. It's hot out. Sorry.
Thanks, Joe.